Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Now, if you're a fan of the Roloff family, the folks from the beloved show Little People, Big World, you know that their lives, while often played out in the public eye, are just as complex and real as anyone else's. We've watched the kids grow up, we've seen the marriages, the challenges, the joys, and the heartbreaks. Today, we're diving into a story that has really shaken the fanbase to its core. It's about Lilah Roloff, the adorable, spirited daughter of Tori and Zach Roloff. The initial headlines were shocking enough: Lilah Roloff hospitalized. As a parent, just hearing those words is enough to send a chill down your spine. Your mind immediately goes to the worst-case scenario. But, as we've come to learn, the initial headline is rarely the whole story. In fact, the real story here isn't just about a medical emergency. It's a story that has exposed some deep, simmering tensions within the family, leaving Tori and Zach not just worried for their daughter, but reportedly, and I quote, very, very upset. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, because we are about to unpack this entire situation. We're going to start with the shocking event that sent Lilah to the hospital, and then, we're going to connect the dots and follow the emotional trail that led to Tori and Zach's current state of anger and frustration. This is a story with a twist, and it reveals more about the Roloff family dynamics than we've seen in a long time. Let's begin with the moment every parent dreads. The moment the world stops. It was a perfectly normal day, or so it seemed. Tori had posted a cute story of Lilah and her big brother, Jackson, playing in the yard. Everything seemed fine. But then, silence. The social media updates from Tori, which are usually quite frequent and full of little life snippets, just stopped. For a day, then two. Fans who are deeply invested in the family started to notice, leaving comments like, "Hope everything's okay," and "missing your updates." Then, the rumor mill started churning. A vague post from a friend. An anonymous source on a fan forum. Whispers of an accident. Whispers of an ambulance. The worry was palpable. And then, the news broke, confirmed by a close family friend speaking to a media outlet: Lilah Roloff had been admitted to the hospital. Now, at this point, the details were incredibly scarce. All we knew was that it was serious enough to require hospitalization. As a community, we all held our breath. Lilah, with her beautiful smile and her fiery little personality, has captured all of our hearts. The thought of her in a hospital bed, of Tori and Zach living that nightmare, was just heartbreaking. Can you even imagine? The frantic rush to the hospital, the sterile smell, the beeping of machines, the terrifying wait for answers from doctors. Your mind races through 1,000 possibilities, each one worse than the last. For Tori and Zach, this wasn't a TV plotline, this was their reality. Their little girl was sick or hurt, and they were in that terrifying space of not knowing. We later found out, through those same sources close to the family, that Lilah had suffered a severe allergic reaction. A severe anaphylactic shock. It came on suddenly and violently after she was exposed to something. We still don't know the official allergen, and it required immediate, emergency intervention. This wasn't a minor rash or a bit of discomfort. Anaphylaxis is life-threatening. It closes your airways, it sends your body into a state of shock. It is a race against time. The fact that she was hospitalized tells us that the reaction was severe enough that they needed to monitor her for more than just a few hours. They needed to ensure the reaction had fully subsided, that there were no secondary complications, and that she was stable. Thankfully, and I want to stress this because it's the most important part of this entire story, Lilah is now out of the hospital. She is home, she is recovering, and by all accounts, she is going to be just fine. She's a resilient little kid, and she has two incredibly loving parents who are watching her like hawks. So, with the immediate crisis over, Lilah safe and sound at home, you would think the story ends there, right? A terrible scare, a happy ending, a huge sigh of relief for everyone. But that's where the twist comes in. Because the relief for Tori and Zach was quickly overshadowed by another, powerful emotion: anger. A deep, profound, and very personal upset. And this is where the story shifts from a medical emergency to a family drama. Because the source of their anger, the reason they are reportedly very upset, is not directed at fate or at a random accident. It's directed squarely at other members of the Roloff family. To understand why Tori and Zach are so upset, we have to rewind the tape a little. We have to look at the history, the patterns, and the dynamics that have been playing out on the Roloff farm for years now. If you've been watching Little People, Big World for any length of time, you'll know that the relationship between Zach and his parents, Matt and Amy, has always been complicated. There have been incredible highs and some very public lows. We saw the tension over the farm, over business decisions, over differing visions for the future. But one of the most consistent and painful themes, particularly for Zach, has been a feeling of being overlooked. Of not being heard. Of his boundaries, especially when it comes to his own immediate family, Tori, Jackson, and Lilah, not being respected. Let's talk about boundaries. Tori and Zach have been very vocal, especially since becoming parents, about setting their own rules. They've been cautious about what they share on social media. They've been intentional about creating a life that is separate from the constant drama of the farm, and they have been very clear about their parenting choices. From dietary preferences to discipline, they have their own way of doing things. And on multiple occasions, they have felt that those choices were not respected by Matt and, according to some reports, other family members. There have been hints and comments in interviews, in social media posts that were later deleted, about gifts of candy when they were trying to limit sugar, about unsolicited advice that felt more like criticism, about a general disregard for the rules Tori and Zach have set up for their own household. It's a classic generational conflict, amplified by 1,000 because it's all happening on television and social media. The grandparents' generation often has the attitude of, well, we raised you and you turned out fine, so what's the big deal? While the new parents are saying, we appreciate that, but we are doing things our way, and we need you to respect that. For Tori and Zach, this hasn't been a minor annoyance. It's been a point of principle. It's about establishing their authority as the parents of their children. And from what we can piece together, this long-simmering issue is the very heart of why they are so very upset about Lilah's hospitalization. Here is the twist, the piece of information that changes everything. According to sources close to the situation, the severe allergic reaction that sent Lilah to the hospital did not happen under Tori and Zach's watch. It did not happen in their own home, where they are meticulously careful about what their children are exposed to. It happened during a visit with other family members. It happened at the Roloff farm. Let that sink in for a moment. Lilah was in the care of her grandparents, or perhaps other relatives, at the family farm, a place that should be safe, a place of fun and memories. And it was there that she was given, or had access to, something that triggered a catastrophic allergic reaction. Now, we do not know the specifics. We don't know if it was a food item, an environmental factor, or something else. We don't know if it was a known allergen that was accidentally introduced, or a brand new one that no one was aware of. But what we do know, from the emotional fallout, is this: Tori and Zach are convinced that this could have been prevented. They believe that if their explicitly stated rules and concerns had been listened to and respected, their daughter would never have ended up in the hospital, fighting for her breath. Can you even begin to fathom the storm of emotions they must be feeling? The sheer, gut-wrenching terror of almost losing your child. The immense relief that she is okay. And then, crashing down on top of all that, a white-hot rage that the entire incident was caused by what they perceive as a blatant disregard for their parenting. This isn't just about a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. This is about a pattern. In their minds, this hospital visit is the direct, and almost inevitable, consequence of their warnings and boundaries being repeatedly ignored. It's the "I told you so" moment from hell. It's their worst fears realized. So, when we hear that they are very upset, we have to understand that word is doing a lot of heavy lifting. They are upset, yes. But they are also furious. They are heartbroken. They feel betrayed. They are likely grappling with immense guilt themselves, that "why did I leave her there" feeling, even though they had every right to trust their family. This event has torn open old wounds and poured salt directly into them. The issues over the farm, the feeling of being the less favored son, the constant struggle to be seen as capable adults and parents, it has all crystallized around this one terrifying event. Let's try to get into their heads for a moment. Imagine you are Zach. You've spent your whole life feeling like you're in your brother's shadow, feeling like your dad's grand plans always mattered more than your personal needs. You finally break away, you build your own life, you start your own family. You set clear, simple rules to protect that family. And then, because those rules were not followed, your daughter ends up in the ER. The message that sends is deafening: your authority as a parent does not matter to me. Your concerns for your child's safety are not important to me. Now, imagine you are Tori. You married into this complicated family. You've been the supportive wife, you've navigated the public scrutiny, and you've been a fierce mama bear for your kids. You've drawn your lines in the sand. And then, in one moment, you see those lines being trampled with nearly catastrophic results. The person you trusted to care for your child, in your absence, failed in the most fundamental way. The trust is shattered. It's not just broken, it's vaporized. How could you ever leave your children in that environment again? How could you ever feel that your children are safe there? The answer is, you probably couldn't. And that realization brings a grief all its own, the grief for the relationship you thought you had, for the grandparent-grandchild dynamic you hoped for, which is now likely irreparably damaged. This explains the silence from Tori and Zach's camp. They aren't just recovering from a medical trauma, they are navigating a profound family betrayal. Posting a cute picture of Lilah recovering at home would be the normal thing to do, but they can't, because it would be disingenuous. It would paper over the real conflict. Their silence is loud. It's a statement in itself. It says, we are so angry, so hurt, that we cannot even pretend that everything is normal right now. And what of the other side? What of Matt and Amy? The reports are that they are, of course, devastated. They are horrified that this happened to their granddaughter on their watch. The guilt they must be feeling is unimaginable. No grandparent ever wants to be the cause of harm to their grandchild. But here's the crucial divide in perspective. From their point of view, it might truly have been a terrible, unforeseeable accident. They might be thinking, how could we have known? It was a mistake. We feel awful. They are likely reaching out, apologizing, trying to help. But for Tori and Zach, an apology is not enough. Because this wasn't a one-off mistake. In their eyes, it was the culmination of a long series of smaller transgressions, a persistent attitude of we know best, which created an environment where a major accident was not just possible, but probable. This is the fundamental clash. One side sees a tragic accident. The other side sees a preventable disaster caused by a pattern of disrespect. So, where does this leave the entire Roloff family? This is more than just a tiff. This has the potential to be a permanent rift. Think about the practical implications. Family gatherings? How can Tori and Zach in good conscience bring their children to the farm, the scene of the trauma? Holidays? Will they be spent separately now? And what about the show? Little People, Big World is built on the premise of a family, albeit a flawed one, navigating life together. How can that continue when the core of the family is so fractured? Can you film Christmas when two of your main cast members won't set foot on the property? This incident forces everyone to choose a side, whether they want to or not. Other family members, Amy, Jeremy, Jacob, will be pulled into the gravity of this conflict. They will have to navigate their own relationships with both parties. The entire ecosystem of the Roloff family is now off balance. For the fans, it's heartbreaking to watch. We fell in love with this family. We rooted for them. We cried with Amy when she went through her divorce, we cheered for Matt's crazy projects, we celebrated Zach and Tori's wedding, and we adored watching Jackson and Lilah grow up. We wanted the happy ending for all of them. To see it potentially unravel over this is deeply saddening. But it's also a stark, real-world reminder that fame and television cameras don't insulate you from the most painful, raw parts of being a family. In many ways, it magnifies them. The path forward for Tori and Zach is clear, but it is incredibly difficult. Their first and only priority is the health and safety of their children. That means reinforcing their boundaries with a steel wall. It may mean taking a significant, or even permanent, step back from the wider Roloff family. It means putting their own little family unit first, no matter the public opinion or the external pressure. They will need time to heal from the terror of the medical event itself. But more than that, they will need time to see if trust can ever be rebuilt. And that is a process that could take years, if it happens at all. It would require not just apologies, but a demonstrable, sustained change in behavior from the other side, a genuine respect for their rules and their authority as parents. For Matt and Amy, the path is one of introspection. It's about understanding that their actions, however well-intentioned, had severe consequences. It's about accepting that their role has changed. They are no longer the primary parents, they are the grandparents. Their job is to support, not to override. It's a difficult transition for any parent to make, but this crisis has made it a non-negotiable one. In the end, the story of Lilah's hospitalization is a cautionary tale. It's a tale about the absolute importance of listening. It's about respecting the boundaries that parents set for their children, even if you don't fully agree with them. It's a reminder that what seems like a small disagreement over a cookie or a rule can be a symptom of a much deeper issue of respect and autonomy. Most of all, it's a story about how love, while fundamental, is not always enough. You can love your grandchildren with all your heart, but if you disregard the rules their parents have set, that love can feel conditional. You can love your parents, but if you feel they have endangered your child, that love becomes tangled with anger and distrust. Lilah is safe. That is the blessing in this whole, messy, painful situation. But the Roloff family will never be the same. The shockwaves from this event will be felt for a very, very long time. Tori and Zach aren't just upset, they are fundamentally re-evaluating their place within the family structure. And as we watch this drama unfold, we are reminded that the biggest world isn't the one on the farm, it's the world of a family, trying to find its way back to each other after a crisis that changed everything. Thank you for watching. Please, keep the Roloff family, especially little Lilah, in your thoughts. Let's all hope for healing, for peace, and for a resolution that puts the well-being of those beautiful children first. As always, share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care of each other.